From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Tonight, kidnap activities jolt citizens as gunmen abduct 3 underage children in Kogi and a separate abduction of a district head and 3 others in Ondo State. Insecurity remains on the front burner as the federal government admonishes military top brass to confront the monster as the National Defense College graduates course 30 officers in Abuja. And a Black Friday, 4 people killed in a lone accident involving a Mazda bus on Lagos-Ibadan Highway, 16 others injured.
Tonight, Polaris Bank dismisses alleged report of its sale to a new investor for 40 billion naira, describing reports as speculative and deliberately intended to create panic.
On sports news tonight, Odunayo Adekuroye and Blessing Oburududu win gold in wrestling for Team Nigeria on day 8 at the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Birmingham.
And from Abuja, federal government approves 24 billion naira for provision of smart modular irrigation facility in the country. Pilot scheme to begin in Adamawa State.
International news from London. Taiwan's foreign minister has defended the US Speaker Nancy Pelosi's short but controversial trip to the island.
Tonight with some heartbreaking news as 3 children between the ages of 3 and 10 becoming the latest victims of kidnapping in the country. They were abducted by gunmen in Ajaokuta local government area of Kogi State. Eyewitnesses say the gunmen, who were fully armed, shot sporadically to scare away residents of Kaduna Estate of Ajaokuta Steel Township Complex on Wednesday evening before they kidnapped the 3 children. Confirming the incident, spokesperson of the Kogi State Police Command says the Commissioner of Police, Edward Ibuka, has deployed operatives of various police anti-kidnapping units in collaboration with vigilante and hunters to trail the kidnappers in order to rescue the children and bring the perpetrators to book. The kidnapping incident is coming a few days after the death of 3 policemen and 5 vigilante killed by unidentified gunmen at Jidabasa, also in Ajaokuta local government area of Kogi State. Meanwhile, reactions have been trailing the abduction of a traditional head from Ikare Akoko, High Chief Mukaila Bello, and 3 other persons along Owo Ikare Akoko Road on Thursday evening. The victims were said to be returning from Akure to Ikare, but were attacked by gunmen along the Agoye axis of the road. The driver of the vehicle was shot in the head, while other occupants were abducted and taken into the nearby bushes. Speaking on the development, the spokesperson for the Ondo State Police Command, Fumilayo Odulami, told Channels Television that the police and other security agencies have been combing the area to rescue the victims and to apprehend the abductors.
A typical day in Akure in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria, with residents going about their businesses. The story is, however, not the same in Agopanu axis of Owo Ikare Road in Ondo State, where the police is searching for a traditional ruler and 3 others abducted by gunmen.
The police received a distress call. We were told that while a driver in a Toyota Corolla vehicle was going with other 4 passengers around Owo Ikare Road, that unknown gunmen shot at them. Unfortunately, the driver was hit on the head, and the other 4 were whisked away into the bush. Immediately we heard about it, our policemen rushed to the scene. While some followed the assailants, we were able to rescue the driver. He had been taken to the hospital. The vehicle had been recovered to the police station. Right now, currently as I speak to you, the officer in charge of the anti-kidnapping section himself and some of his men are in the bush, including vigilantes and hunters in that axis, just to ensure that the victims are rescued while the assailants too are arrested.
Before now, Ondo State was rated one of the most peaceful states in the country. But recently, the southwestern state, like many other states, is witnessing an upsurge of banditry attacks. The attack of a Catholic church in Owo, followed by another attack of a construction company in the same town, are recent attacks that have heightened fears among residents of the state. Some of them express worries about the current state of insecurity.
So I will want to call on government to empower security agencies the more. When you go to some police stations, they have only one vehicle. And some of those vehicles, they are not in normal condition. Some, they might not even have fuel to power it. So in that kind of situation, when residents call on the police, they won't be able to deploy their personnel to those areas.
The thing is so surprised. Every time kidnapping. So the government will try to put more effort so that kidnapping will stop.
Another resident is concerned about intelligence gathering and sharing among security agencies and advises effective collaboration.
We have so many security agents, the Amotekuns, the civil defense, the police, and what have you. They should strategize and see how they can get better from all these agents, and personnel, because the situation is getting worse and worse every day, which average Nigerians are not that secured to sleep in their house, to go to their normal working place, getting their ends meet and what have you.
While family and friends continue to pray for the safe return of the abducted victims, residents are hopeful that a state of security will improve to curb the activities of bandits in the state.
Staying in Ondo State, operatives of the Regional Security Network, the Amotekun Corps, have apprehended over 150 suspected invaders in Akure, the state capital. Persons were intercepted in the early hours of Thursday along the Akure-Ado-Ekiti highway during a stop-and-search operation by the Corps. While addressing newsmen on the incident, the commander of Amotekun in Ondo State, Adetunji Adeleye, disclosed that the invaders were hidden under bags of rice and beans in the trucks, noting that they could not explain their mission in the state.
There are invaders that came in 2 different trucks, but carefully concealed behind some foodstuffs and Okada, such that you will not notice that there are human beings inside the trucks. One of the truck veered off the main road into a bush path along Ado-Akure Road, while the other one that has about 100 men were caught on the road. When we discovered that they were there, we questioned their movement, and virtually all of them said they were coming to Akure on a mission they don't understand, and that they were picked up at different points to come into the town. They said they're coming from Katsina, Jigawa, Kano, Abuja. And we commenced profiling to find out their true mission. We saw some photographs and some charms, so many other items which they could really not explain. Then the Okada in the vehicles, they don't also have valid papers to justify the true ownership of the motorbikes. So this is what we have in our hand at the moment.
In the meantime, Southwest governors and security stakeholders have been asked to raise the bar and challenge the persistent invasion of forests within the region. That call is coming from the Are Ono Kakanfo of Yoruba land, Otumba Gani Adams, during an exclusive interview with Channels Television in Lagos.
Nigeria's northeast region, the northwest and some parts of north central have been under heavy attack by terrorists for over a decade. The bandits who have dominated the Nigerian forests have threatened to spread to other parts of the country. News platforms earlier this week were awash with a security threat alarm raised by the Are Ona Kakanfo of Yoruba land and leader of the Oodua People's Congress, Otumba Gani Adams. He claims there has been an invasion of the southwest forest by suspected bandits. Speaking further on the alert in an interview with Channels Television, Otumba Adams explains that with his position in the region, a coalition of dedicated and structured local security architecture should be engaged to tackle emerging threats in the region.
I've done my part. Yoruba is very trickish. If you don't talk, there will always be some word from some people that don't have enough information. What is Are Ona Kakanfo doing to this issue? I've already put the authority in public opinion. And that was one of the reasons that I said, if you need my service, call me. I will come on board with you with Southwest security stakeholders. And the members of this organization, they are ready to lay down their life. They are ready. And part of the job, they are ready to do it free of charge. But we need government clearance.
In reaction to that alarm, however, the police in Ogun State is asking residents to remain calm as the synergy between security agencies in the state is yielding desired results.
People should not panic. They should go about their lawful businesses. And we are not going to rest on our horse until all these hoodlums who are moving around, who are looking around, are getting rid from the society. So we are working assiduously, and we need the cooperation of members of the public in that regard.
High level of morale in display by police officers and personnel of the Amotekun Corps in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. In a joint operation, they claim that heavy detachment personnel have been deployed to comb the forest area and dislodge armed gangs.
The police, in synergy with other security agencies and the local security outfits that we refer to as CJTF, like the hunters, the agbekoyas, the vigilantes, the OPC, and no more the agbekoya and the likes. We have synergized together to ensure that our forest is free of these bandits. And they have been posted, they have been drafted to the forests since that day, and we have been looking for them.
We have been working day and night, and we don't want to raise alarm necessarily, so it's what we can. And they are targeting 2 locations in our state, so we know, we are all aware of where they are going, and by the special grace of God, we have people security in our state. We are doing our best.
Much as the security alarm may be disturbing to residents in the southwest zone, it is a wake-up call for all to be more security conscious and be swift in reporting any suspicious movement to the security agencies.
Back here in Lagos, the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, today summoned an emergency security meeting with all heads of security outfits in the state. The heads of security apparatus in the state held a closed-door meeting with the governor for about 3 hours. After the meeting, the governor said all security agencies in the state are well prepared for any eventualities. He asked residents not to panic, but rather report any suspicious movement to the agents.
In the last 3.5 hours, we have received individual reports of what the current security situation of the state is. We have reviewed where we are, and we have put heads together to come up with strategies, and interventions that will, one, help assure our citizens that our men are alive, and they are ready, to ensure that the safety of life and property of our citizens in Lagos is not compromised in any form, to reassure Lagosians that all of the security agencies have been activated not in any form to cause panic, but they've been reassured of not only the support of the government, but also have been encouraged to be vigilant, and to be up to their responsibility. Our advice to our citizens is to continue to be law-abiding, to continue to go about their lawful duties, to continue to say something when they see something, because security is actually everybody's business.
In part two, after the break, Catholic Archbishop of Lagos, Most Reverend Adewale Martins, wants Nigerians to take active part in politics in 2023. That's in a moment. Do join us again. Welcome back. If it has joined us to watch the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Kidnap activities jolt citizens as gunmen abduct 3 underage children in Kogi, and a separate abduction of a district head and 3 others in Ondo State. Insecurity remains on the front burner as a federal government admonishes military top brass to confront the monster as the National Defense College graduates course 30 officers in Abuja. On Black Friday, 4 people killed in lone accident involving a Mazda bus on Lagos-Ibadan highway, 16 others injured. In spite of security challenges confronting the nation, the federal government is again assuring Nigerians of its commitment to combat the scourge of terrorism and insurgency in the country. The latest assurance is coming from no less a person than the nation's #1 citizen, President Muhammadu Buhari, who says the government is doing all it can to eliminate bandits and terrorists in the country. The president was speaking through the secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, at the 30th graduation ceremony of the National Defense College, Abuja.
Looking colorfully dressed in their military attire, participants of the National Defense College Course 30 converge on the Abacha Hall of the college for their graduation ceremony. The dignitaries at the ceremony include the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, who is representing President Muhammadu Buhari, and the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lekki. The Commandant of the college proceeds to address the graduates.
The mission of the National Defense College is to develop future strategic leaders who are sufficiently equipped with the requisite knowledge and analytical skills necessary to harness the instruments of national power in a dynamic defense and security environment. Our expectation is that these participants will contribute to finding practical and implementable solutions to current and future national, regional, and indeed global challenges.
One after the other, the graduates are conferred with a fellowship of the college, followed by the presentation of certificates and award of recognition to 2 alumni of the college.
Officer of the Nigerian Army and one of the 3 female participants in the course.
As expected, the issue of insurgency and terrorism formed parts of the speech delivered on behalf of the president.
Effort is being made to profile them quickly, relocate them to their villages, and thereafter reintegrate them back to society. I want to assure all Nigerians that government is doing all it can to eliminate or apprehend the criminals and bandits wherever they are.
The 13th graduation ceremony, which had 20 international participants and 82 Nigerians, coincides with the 13th anniversary of the college, regarded as Africa's foremost military training institution.
And the Catholic Archbishop of Lagos, Most Reverend Adewale Martins, has been speaking about the security situation in the country, asking Nigerians not to be wary but take active part in the electoral process leading up to the 2023 general elections. Archbishop Martins was speaking at a Thanksgiving service to commemorate his 10th anniversary in office and the ordination of 9 new priests into the Lagos Archdiocese.
We all know the circumstance in which we have found ourselves, and we can count all the challenges from one end of the street to the other because there are so many. And that is why we need to ask the Lord to take perfect control. One thing I wish to say is to ask you to storm the heavens, but also, please let us take seriously the preparations and the elections that are forthcoming. You know, sometimes we can lapse into this feeling of, oh, our votes won't count, and therefore we don't pay attention. The votes will count. I'm sure that there are some who are even thinking the elections will not take place. The elections will take place by the grace of God. And that is why we must call on our government to please ensure that they allay the fears of our people that elections will not take place. Please allay our fears. Let our president speak to us and tell us what is being done to ensure that everything goes well. It is not enough to look forward to retiring. It's important to see that ensure that things are in place before then. Please, let us take this election seriously. I ask that we listen to what the politicians have to say. Let us listen to the details of what they have to say, because that should help us in determining what we do with our votes.
To party politics and issues of governance, the newly appointed spokesperson for the APC and Tinubu Presidential Campaign Council, Mr. Festus Keyamo, has been defending the efforts of the All Progressives Congress and the Buhari government in areas where promises were made in the last election cycle. Mr. Keyamo, who's also the Minister of State for Labour, says the government has shown capacity to tackle the challenges confronting the nation and also risen to the occupation in terms of difficulty. He was speaking on our political program, Politics Today.
Jonathan at that time did not show any capacity to deal with the problems. Let me tell you why. Whilst we are admitting there is a problem and we're trying to tackle the problem, even in the case of the kidnap of the Chibok girls, government denied that there was no kidnap, that nobody was kidnapped. I mean, that was crass irresponsibility. And that's why we campaigned against that government and changed the government. We're not saying that there will not be breaches. We're just saying that they had lost the plot. Jonathan lost the plot. PDP lost the plot. Have you heard us deny that people were kidnapped along Abuja, Kaduna, or anywhere? We have not. We rather face our problems. We dig in. We go back to the drawing board. We draw up a concise plan to resolve these problems once and for all. Shehu, this is a government and the president who is not in always a panic mode. People may misinterpret his body language, but he's somebody who likes to resolve these problems once and for all. These are work in progress. Whenever we stop, equipments have been brought in. You know, that's all the best planes have been brought in. Fighter planes have been brought in. Now, wherever we stop, if by the will of God Almighty, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu wins, and which we hope he will win, he will continue from where he has stopped. We cannot resolve all the problems 100%. And that's the connection between the Buhari's regime and the incoming Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he is someone who, like I said before, can improve extremely whatever he meets on the ground. If anybody knows how Lagos was before 1999, they will tell you how extremely, careful in planning that Asiwaju Tinubu was and how much he improved Lagos. 600 million naira IGR, 600 million to 51 billion IGR monthly today. That is a wealth creator. And Nigeria surely needs a wealth creator now.
In other developments, following the People's Democratic Party's reconciliatory meeting between the presidential candidates, Atiku Abubakar, and Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, both parties have agreed to set up a 14-man joint reconciliatory committee to broker a truce between the two aggrieved parties. A close source told Channels Television that the 14-man committee is to broker a peace deal within 7 days, after which both Atiku and Wike will meet to respond to the recommendations. Both parties fell out after the PDP presidential primaries, in which Governor Wike alleged foul play, after which he was also dropped as vice presidential candidate, despite being recommended by his election committee. And tragedy as 4 persons died in a fatal road accident on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, while 16 others sustained varying degrees of injury. The accident was said to have been caused by excessive speeding, which resulted in the loss of control of the vehicle, while the bus rammed into a median strip and went into flames, burning them, that's the passengers, beyond recognition. According to the public education officer of the Ogun State sector of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Florence Okwe, the accident was an isolated one, which involved a Mazda bus conveying 20 people with registration number APP34XH. The injured have been taken to Victory Hospital, Ogere, for medical attention. We'll go now to our studio in Abuja, where Maokwe Ogu Yusuf is standing by with more on the news at 10. Hi, Maokwe.
Hello, Amarachi. Well, it's a little more hope on this front, as agriculture could be seeing a boost if the approvals granted by President Muhammadu Buhari to the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, comes to fruition. The Executive Vice Chairman of NASENI, Professor Mohammed Sani Haruna, revealed today that the President has approved 24 billion naira for a smart modular irrigation project. The NASENI boss told State House correspondent after a private meeting with the president that he was in the villa to brief the president on the activities of the agency, as well as present the agency's financial report to him.
It is for the modular irrigation system. We have acquired a 10-hectare or 10-hectare or on lease farmland in Adamawa State, using water from River Benue, where this pilot scheme is starting. And it is estimated that based on the technologies to be used there, it is possible to have 3 multi-crop seasons in a year, commencing from October this year, God willing, in that land. And the monies are for the forms, the structure, the farming techniques, the farmers, the officers, the OPCs that is needed, the vehicles, and administrative management, up to the period that we will have this demonstration farm using modular irrigation system or PES model.
Still ahead on the news at 10, global food prices dip for the 4th consecutive month in July as food prices make a significant drop. That's on Business News. Do join us again. Welcome back to the news at 10. We're off now to Benin City, the Edo State capital, where free movement of vehicular as well as pedestrian movement have returned to Sapele Road after 4 days of shutdown by youths of more than 10 communities in the Sapele Road axis of the city. The youths are protesting the poor state of the Sapele-Benin-Warri Road and have vowed to shut it down until government responds to their demands.
The Benin-Sapele-Warri Road axis of Benin City 48 hours ago. A marked difference from what you see today. Articulated vehicles beginning to move slowly but surely. The barricades are nowhere around. Instead, the bulldozer is on a rumble. However, these motorists are still very much upbeat in their demand for a complete reconstruction of the road.
The government have to come to our aid fully. They have to. They don't need to take any chances of us. They have to come for our aid to make sure this road will be in order.
One of the youth leaders explains why the barricades came down.
For this job that is being done, just like as he said, is to be a palliative, which means it's going to serve us for a period of time. And yesterday we told them that we are sheathing our sword of protest, going back home, opening the road, and we're giving them probably a period of 3 months. You understand? So by 3 months, at least those meetings, whatever approval that is needed to be done, so that that main construction can commence, at least should be done within that period of 3 months. And if we wait for after that 3 months and nothing is being done and the road is still like this and our people is still suffering, we're hitting the street back.
The engineering supervisor of the crew working on the current palliative intervention assures that the palliative will be properly done, pending when a total repair of the road will happen.
We're trying to see how we can actually, cover some failed portion so that there can be vehicular movement. Then once that one is achieved, then the next point of action is to do a permanent job on the complete rehabilitation of these roads.
The Benin-Sapele-Warri Road access cannot be ignored because it is a major haulage route to the nerve center of the nation's economy. Osazo Obaze, Channels Television News.
Over 7 billion naira, that's the worth of items seized by officers of the strike force team of the Nigerian Customs in charge of the Southwest in the first 6 months of 2022. Although most of the seized items lack storage and are hanging around the customs facilities at the training college in Ikeja and at the Ikorodu terminal, the coordinator of the Comptroller General Strike Force team, Mohammed Yusuf, explains that the revenue jackups were made through issuance of demand notices sequel to discoveries of short payment of duties within the period.
These are some of the seized items by the customs strike team in the southern zone. The storage facility is unable to accommodate more of the seizure, as the coordinator of the unit says that adequate provision is being made to create a larger space. The seized items are notable: new and second-hand clothing, different sizes of used tires, bags of used shoes, bags of foreign parboiled rice, among other items.
Usually we have to go outside our scope. We profile, and sometimes, what the declarants, what the importers declare is not what they carry. So when we declare, when you profile, at the end of the day, we suspect. And along the line, when they are coming out, because it's difficult to catch them from within the port. So when they are outside, we just take a check, and eventually we got them. And the officers are involved are undergoing investigation.
Comparing the seizures made in the first 6 months of the year with that of the same period in 2021, Mr. Yusuf explains that the team recorded an increase of over 1 billion naira, representing 73% in revenue.
We came in, the compliance, the number of agents and importers that were not complying were quite high. So immediately we step up. But as you can see, subsequent months, we are hovering within 600, 500 at least, as the importation goes. But you can all notice that, yes, definitely now the level of importation is down. But notwithstanding, we're still trying. So, and I'm sure Nigerians, being what they are, we always want to. And our eagle's eyes are always there to make sure that those who will not do the right thing will always get the end for them.
While advising Nigerians to embrace Made in Nigeria products, the coordinator adds that 4 suspects were apprehended in connection with the seizures. Combatant officers of the team, with vigilance and uncompromising disposition in the discharge of their duties, have already mounted the zone.
And that's all from Abuja. It's back now to you, Amarachi.
Thanks a lot, Maupe. Well, here in Lagos, Total Energies is rewarding its loyal customers for taking part in the Quartz mega promo, which was launched in July and will run until September. At the first draw in Lagos, the company rewarded 40 winners from 10 categories, with gifts ranging from refrigerators to air conditioners, gas cookers and smart TVs, among others.
Being loyal to a company like Total Energies comes with benefits. One of such is the Quartz Mega Promo, which was launched in July.
Over 300 people left or escaped.
A month down the line, senior managers of the company are gathered to announce the mouth-watering prizes for loyal customers who have purchased a range of lubricants made to improve vehicle engines' performance.
There will be 2 major electronic raffle draws, the first of which we will see today, each of which will produce 40 winners across 10 gift categories. The gifts include smart televisions, refrigerators, sound bars, air conditioners, washing machines, microwaves, gas cookers, free fuel, which is premium motor spirit or PMS, worth a maximum of 120,000 naira.
The lucky winners are informed over the telephone.
You are a lucky winner of Total Energies card, which will be loaded with 120,000 naira to be used to buy fuel at any of our Total Energy service station nationwide.
But that's not all, as the promo is still on till the 1st of September, with a brand new car as the grand prize.
It's quite exciting when someone will buy a product that is less than 10,000 naira and end up winning a washing machine, a refrigerator, an air conditioner, or at the ultimate prize, you end up winning a car.
More customers are encouraged to participate in the Quartz Mega Raffle Draw and win any of the gift items.
Today we are the market leader in lubricants in Nigeria, and we expect more customers to come in and enjoy the quality there is in our lubricants. We are a company of integrity. We always keep to our words, and we definitely assure customers, don't be afraid. If you have questions, you can visit any of our Total service stations nationwide for more inquiries, and you will get more information.
Total Energies has remained one of the leading brands in the downstream sector. The company says it will continue to deliver top quality energy products and services to its customers across the country.
It's time for business news. Here's Teniola Shubawali.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Amarachi. Welcome to Business News. Global food prices dropped for the 4th consecutive month in July, and that's according to the latest report from the UN's Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO's monthly food price index, which the benchmark for tracking global commodities, show that prices averaged 140.9 points in July, down 8.6% from in June. The FAO attributes the further drop to the prices of vegetable oil and cereals, as global wheat prices dropped by as much as 14.5%, partly in reaction to the Russia-Ukraine deal on grain exports from key Black Sea ports, as well as seasonal availability from ongoing harvests in the northern region. Meanwhile, the FAO's chief economist, Maximo Torero, says although the decline in food commodity price is welcome, many uncertainties such as bleak global economic outlook, currency volatility, and high fertilizer prices remain and may impact future production and farmers' livelihoods. A few weeks after receiving its first ship, the Lekki deep sea port has welcomed its second ship. The ship, Zenhao 35, which arrived from China, conveyed packages such as rubber tires and accessories to the Lekki deep sea port shore this afternoon. Recently, the management of Lekki deep sea port announced that construction work is now at 95.65% completion stage as at July the 27th. The facility is expected to be the first fully automated port in Nigeria when it becomes fully operational. And the management of Polaris Bank has dismissed a report that the bank was about to be sold to a private investor by the Central Bank of Nigeria. In a statement released today, the bank described the report as speculative and deliberately intended to create panic. The management explains that while its intention has always been to return the bank to private ownership, such a sale would occur following regulatory approvals with formal notifications to all relevant stakeholders. In September 2018, the CBN revoked the operating license of Sky Bank and then established and licensed Polaris Bank to assume all assets and liabilities of the defunct Sky Bank. And in a last-minute victory, the bull finally resurfaced at the local equities market, with the benchmark index rising by more than 0.25%. Ini John Mekwa tells us more.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the stock market report. For the second Friday in a row, the market closed with a surprising bounce, with the all-share index up almost 0.3%, and that's adding 82 billion naira to the market value of today. And the consumer goods counter was at the fore of today's winners, captured in the top trades. Honeywell, we see, led that pack. More than 22 million of its shares was traded today. Boer Foods may not have made it to the top three, but it drove the market sentiment today after gaining 3 naira 70 kobo to close at 54 naira 50 kobo. Looks like investors are happy with the outcome of the annual general meeting, which they had recently. But the star of today's trade shows in over 1.5% gain on the consumer goods counter. But of course, the banking and the oil and gas will not just be left out of the goodies. So it's a Green Friday again. I guess we should just bask and enjoy this moment, pending what happens in the next trading day. That's the stock market report. I'm Ini John Mekwa. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Ini. Well, outside our shores, U.S. jobs hiring came far better than expected in July, defying fears that the country's labor market is heading for a slowdown. According to latest report from the Labor Department, non-farm payrolls rose by 528,000 last month, which was far stronger than expected, despite some signs of economic weakness. At the same time, the jobless rate fell to 3.5% last month from 3.6% in June, as restaurants, bars and other firms continue to add workers. Similarly, wage growth also surged as average hourly earnings jumped 0.5% for the month and 5.2% from a year ago, higher than estimates. Meanwhile, let's find out how major global stock markets ended Friday's trading session. And that's Business News Tonight. I'm Teniola Shubowale. It's back to Amarachi for the rest of the news at 10.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thanks, Daniela. Some international news now. At least 10 people have been killed by Israeli airstrikes in the Gaza Strip, including a top commander of a Palestinian militant group. Israel's Prime Minister says the operation followed an immediate threat by Palestinian Islamic Jihad after the arrest of one of its members earlier this week. Elsewhere, China says it's halting cooperation with the U.S. in several key areas, including climate change, military talks, and efforts to combat international crime. That announcement comes after China announced it was sanctioning U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi following her visit to Taiwan this week. The sanctions extend to her family as well. Simon Pusey has more.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Taiwan's foreign minister has defended US Speaker Nancy Pelosi's brief but controversial trip to the island. Joseph Wu condemned the large-scale military exercises that China began around the island. He said Ms. Pelosi's visit was extremely significant and China's response would not stop democratic politicians being invited to Taipei. Mr. Wu also warned that China's territorial aims go far beyond Taiwan. At least 13 people have been killed and 41 others injured after a fire swept through a nightclub in Chonburi province in southeastern Thailand. Footage circulating online shows people fleeing the club screaming, some with their clothes alight. Police said the fire broke out at 1 a.m. local time on Friday at the Mountain Bee night spot in Satahip district. Rescuers say flammable material on the walls may have exacerbated the blaze. Bodies of the victims, 4 women and 9 men, were mostly found near the entrance and in the bathrooms. Others were found near the DJ booth. So far, all those who died are believed to be Thai nationals. 3 ships loaded with grain have left Ukraine ports under a recently concluded safe passage deal, the Turkish Defense Ministry have said. The Joint Coordination Center in Istanbul, which groups Russian, Ukrainian, Turkish and UN personnel, said 2 ships were setting off from Chornomorsk and 1 from Odessa. The 3 vessels, carrying a total of about 58,000 tons of corn, have been authorized to leave Ukrainian ports as part of a deal to unblock grain exports. The US has urged Moscow to accept a deal to free basketball player Brittany Griner, who has been sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison. The double Olympic winner was convicted of possessing and smuggling drugs after admitting to possessing cannabis oil. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said the US offer was a serious proposal, but gave no details. US media reports suggest Washington is offering a prisoner swap involving a Russian arms trafficker. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Moscow was ready to discuss the topic. North Korea says everyone who fell sick since the country confirmed its first COVID-19 infections has recovered.
North Korea has marked...
On Friday, state media reported 0 fever cases for a 7th straight day. North Korea refers to fever rather than COVID patients due to a lack of testing equipment. The country announced its first COVID outbreak in May and has reported fever infections and deaths since. But there is widespread doubt over the data, especially the number of deaths. Linda Thomas-Greenfield, the US ambassador to the UN, has arrived in Ghana on a 2-day visit.
Discuss how one country...
She will be visiting markets and meeting smallholder farmers to assess the local resources and how best the US can work with Ghana to alleviate food insecurity across the country. Currently, a similar project is in operation in the northern region. A judge has ruled that Kevin Spacey and his production companies must pay the makers of House of Cards nearly $31 million because of losses brought on by his 2017 firing for the sexual harassment of crew members. The ruling from Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Mel Red Ricana gives the force of law to award $30.9 million in favor of MRC and other companies that produced the Netflix series by a private arbitrator who heard the case against Spacey. The arbitrator found that Spacey violated his contract's demands for professional behavior by engaging in certain conduct in connection with several crew members in each of the 5 seasons that he starred in. And finally, people have gathered to watch the eruption of a volcano near Iceland's capital, Reykjavik. Videos uploaded on social media show people taking photos and filming as the volcano spills lava and smoke, offering a vast show of fire. The eruption, which started after days of rising earthquake activity in the area, took place just 25 kilometers from Reykjavik. Located between the Eurasian and North American tectonic plates, among the largest on the planet, Iceland frequently experiences earthquakes and has high volcanic activity as the two plates move in opposite directions. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Sports News is next. Here's Victor Matthias.
Thank you, Amarachi. Nigeria's Odunayo Adekunle has won a gold medal in women's 57 kg freestyle wrestling at the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Adekunle defeated her Indian opponent Anshu Malik 7-3 to secure Nigeria's first gold medal in wrestling. The 28-year-old came under pressure but was equal to the challenge. Blessing Oborodudu also won gold in the women's freestyle 68 kg finals after beating Linda Morais of Canada. Elsewhere, Esther Kolawole won bronze for Nigeria in women's freestyle 62 kg wrestling event to cap a very good performance for Team Nigeria on day 8. In the English Premier League, Arsenal got their campaign off to a perfect start with a well-deserved 2-0 victory over Crystal Palace. The Gunners maintained their impressive pre-season form with an energetic performance that was rewarded with a goal from Gabriel Martinelli in the 20th minute and an own goal from Mark Guehi in the dying moments of the game. Mikel Arteta recorded his 50th league win as Gunners boss in the entertaining 2022-23 Premier League curtain raiser played at Selhurst Park. Now, Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel expresses concerns that players could be affected in the months before and after the mid-season World Cup in Qatar. Tuchel said that the emotions and demands of World Football's showpiece tournament could leave footballers drained. The Premier League's 2022-23 season will be paused from November the 12th to accommodate the World Cup, which runs from November 21st to December the 18th and will resume on Boxing Day. Well, we have to wait and see how that will play out, but that's a wrap on Sports News. Thank you so very much for watching. I'm Victor Matthias. Is back to Amarachi with the wrap of the news at 10.
Thanks a lot, Victor. But just one more political story before we close. The All Progressives Congress and its candidate in the July 16 Osun State governorship election, Gboyega Oyetola, has filed a petition at the tribunal to challenge the results of the election. Both Governor Oyetola and the APC chairman of the state, Gboyega Famodun, signed the petition before it was submitted at the tribunal by their legal team. Speaking shortly after the petition was submitted, the chairman of APC in Osun State, Prince Famodun, and the head of the legal team, Rashid Adegoke, said the party and its candidates have a good case. And the main news again, the police in Kogi State has confirmed the abduction of 3 underage children in the Ajaokuta local government area of the state, while a district head and 3 others were also abducted or kidnapped in Ondo State. And China's imposed sanctions on the United States after Speaker Nancy Pelosi's brief but controversial trip to Taiwan. And that is the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Good night and enjoy the weekend.